in the headlines of this hour on VTV News. Vietnam seeks solutions to manage the gold market. And shrimp exporters grapple with challenges. In our world news, Israeli military intensifies attack on the city of Rafa.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good afternoon. It is 3 p.m. local time in Hanoi, and you're watching VTV News. I'm Huyền Trần with the top stories. Following discussions on solutions for managing the gold market with the State Bank and relevant ministries, Deputy Prime Minister Lê Minh Khái concluded that there needs to be a stricter implementation of gold market management regulations, especially Notice number 160 from the government office. As such, the government requests that the State Bank of Vietnam, or SBV, use appropriate tools in accordance with the law to promptly stabilize and balance the gold market. Inspections and specialized examinations of the gold market also need to be conducted urgently. The Ministry of Finance is tasked with ensuring that all gold business units comply with regulations on electronic invoices. Other ministries and agencies need to closely coordinate with the SBV in managing and stabilizing the gold market in compliance with Decree number 24. The North Central provinces have faced a series of hurdles in recent years, despite their potential and many advantages in seafood farming, processing and exporting, particularly processed shrimp. Fluctuations in the shrimp market, a surge in affordable global supply, and the complexities of epidemic outbreaks have all contributed to the challenges of shrimp export. These difficulties have posed significant obstacles for shrimp farmers, hindering their efforts to expand production and secure markets for their products.
The Son Thanh Cooperative, currently managing 12 hectares of white shrimp, has struggled to break into foreign markets over the past decade. Instead, they've relied on selling within the province. While local sales soar to around $6 per kilogram, exporting abroad proves burdensome due to lower prices influenced by increased global supply.
We cannot export shrimp abroad because we don't have a sufficient product supply for large shipments, and we can't meet certain export requirements.
Nam Hà Tĩnh Seafood Import-Export Charge Stock Company has faced production cutbacks due to a shortage of export orders. The company grapples with high production costs and input prices, while pose significant challenges to its shrimp exports.
The Japanese market is challenging due to decreased consumer demand. We have halted all order processing since November of last year. The company is facing difficulties.
Meanwhile, the cost of domestic shrimp production remains higher than the other regional countries. This is due to the high cost of shrimp feed and breeds, while the infrastructure of the farming area is underdeveloped.
The shrimp output of our province has not met export demand due to its insufficient volume. As a result, exporters cannot purchase enough, and the domestic shrimp price is higher than the export price.
Furthermore, water sources are prone to pollution, hindering both the expansion of shrimp farming areas and product quality. Additionally, the prevalence of unofficial production and trading of shrimp breeds further exacerbates the challenges faced by shrimp exports today.
Vietnam currently has 33 coal-fired power plants, contributing nearly half of the country's electricity supply. Notably, in the first quarter of this year, the total coal output supply for electricity production was more than 13 million tons. Since this year's dry season is predicted to last until the end of July, coal demand from thermal power plants will increase to an estimated 28 million tons. Many solutions have been implemented to ensure a sufficient supply of coal in the coming period.
Previously, this thermal power plant could only operate 2 out of 4 generating units. However, all 4 generating units operate at maximum capacity due to the early ordering of raw material supply.
We aim to generate 7,721,000,000 kilowatt-hours in 2024. To ensure enough coal for power generation, we have signed a contract with National Coal Mineral Industries Holding for 3 million tons per year and Dongbak Corporation for 1 million tons per year.
When output coal supply contracts are guaranteed for coal production units, there are resources to invest in technology and equipment, thereby increasing mining output.
We now apply mechanized technology to mine coal, thus reaching 2.4 million tons of output annually. Every month and every quarter, we develop plans with priority given to ensuring a continuous coal supply.
We have signed a long-term coal supply contract for all power plants using coal. We also plan to supply 17 million tons of coal to power plants during the peak dry season, an increase of 1.8 million tons compared to the approved projections.
The Ministry has approved and adjusted the coal supply demand for electricity production. The total volume of coal for the dry season months is 28 million tons, and the entire year's demand will reach 75 million tons.
In 2024, electricity demand is forecast to increase, estimated at over 300 billion kilowatt-hour, of which the mobilization rate from coal thermal power accounts for nearly 50%. Therefore, ensuring sufficient coal supply for electricity production is a critical requirement.
Impacted by a prolonged drought, 7 out of 10 durian fruits have withered, leaving only 3 intact. Numerous durian orchards in the mountainous district of Khánh Sơn, Khánh Hòa province, the primary durian cultivation area in the south-central region, have experienced such severe fruit loss. Urgent measures are required to stabilize durian production, making it a crucial task in responding to natural disasters.
Every night, the durian garden is littered with fallen fruit. This 1-hectare garden yields only 1 durian crop annually. In the past, each tree typically bore around 30 fruit. These days, the trees yield no more than a dozen fruits each.
I don't know how many fruits will be left at harvest. I'm really sad.
The occurrence of young fruit loss affects more than 30% of durian gardens in Khánh Sơn, encompassing approximately 1,500 hectares of durian production. Numerous farmers have revealed that the severity of heat stress experienced by durian trees this year is an unprecedented phenomenon.
Irrigation water is severely lacking. People water only close to the roots, not outside, which causes damage to the roots.
Nobody would think this was a river. Durian growers are restless. Having poured huge investments into their durian gardens, they now bear the ongoing cost of ferrying water from rivers to their patched durian gardens.
We take advantage of available ponds and lakes, branch irrigation systems, and encourage people to use drip irrigation to conserve water resources. As for irrigation system that can still be used, the commune has to take turns using the water.
Khánh Hòa province has a strategy to construct water reservoirs in the mountainous Khánh Sơn region. Last year, the Khánh Sơn durian area generated almost $40 million in revenue. However, if rainfall does not occur in the upcoming days, the risk of durian fruit loss will become even more severe.
Green credit to support green and sustainable production projects requires an average growth rate of more than 20% per year. While many banks have built credit packages suitable for sustainable production and transformation, the total outstanding green credit debt currently only accounts for about 4.5%, more than $24.3 billion. This is a very small figure compared to actual needs due to many policy problems.
1 kilogram of plastic pellets made from sugarcane bagasse can reduce more than 3 kilograms of CO2 emissions. This business will need more than $1.1 million per month to produce plastic pellets like these. They still struggle to apply for loans compared to regular borrowers.
No company in Vietnam has this amount of plastic pellets available. We have to accumulate and import 500 tons proactively every month.
Vietnam is the first country in the ASEAN region to develop a statistical guide on credit according to green classification, while the State Bank listed 12 green industries applicable for interest rates. Vietnam has yet to have a consistent national green classification list across all ministries and branches.
We increase the proportion of green credit by 1 to 3% each year. We also prioritize sources to find experts capable of evaluating projects and business needs.
The Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment is submitting the official green classification for Vietnam to the government for all forms of green credit and green bond issuance.
Foreign investment funds evaluate green businesses based on their opportunities to develop business models and especially their impact on society. No collateral is required and the signing time takes 6 to 9 months.
Recently, the Prime Minister has emphasized the need for coordination between ministries and branches to remove obstacles and quickly increase access to capital for businesses, including green production enterprises.
Now, after a year of construction, the waste processing plant in Phu Quoc, Kiên Giang province has officially commenced operations. With a total investment of over $2.1 million, the plant is expected to enhance the environmental protection capacity of Phu Quoc City. The Dong Cây Sao waste processing plant has a processing capacity of 250 tons per day. Here, waste is categorized into 3 types: inert waste, recyclable materials such as glass and metal, and a combustible waste processed by incineration. The plant has 2 incinerators, which burn 144 tons per day. Currently, the existing waste volume at the landfill is about 163,000 tons, and approximately 200 tons of new waste are produced daily. If the 2 incinerators continue to operate as they do now, it will take about 22 months for the plant to process all the waste. Coming up next on VTV News. VAT reduction boosts consumer spending. And values of a local cultural identity preserved and promoted. Welcome back to VTV News. A dialogue between the businesses of Hoa Lạc High-Tech Park and Hanoi leaders was held on Saturday. This marked the first time in 6 months since the transfer of Hoa Lạc High-Tech Park to Hanoi that 92 active businesses there were able to address their issues with the city leaders. One major concern is the inadequacy of transportation and social infrastructure. The lack of proper connectivity between the city center, Hoa Lạc High-Tech Park, and residential areas for experts and workers makes commuting a burden. As such, Hanoi plans to introduce large-size bus routes to tackle this issue. The city also proposes that relevant departments and agencies treat the high-tech park as a quasi-administrative unit of the city to swiftly address any remaining issues. This is the second dialogue conference in a series of 6 conferences organized by Hanoi this year to promote information exchange between city authorities and the business community. Starting June 1st, Hanoi will implement non-cash payments for fees and charges at one-door sections. Consequently, cash will no longer be used at these administrative sections. Payments made via QR codes will streamline procedures for officials while providing convenience for citizens. This also promotes automatic money deposits into the treasury, reducing the risk associated with a fee collection and enhancing transparency in transactions between citizens and state agencies. Local units need to allocate support staff for citizens who do not have bank accounts or devices to make non-cash payments. The government proposed extending the 2% VAT reduction for specific goods and services in the second half of the year. This urgent measure aims to enhance resilience for businesses and individuals and support economic recovery. Many businesses see this as a growth stimulus.
According to this restaurant, a 2% VAT cut allows them to reduce input costs, directly lowering food and beverage prices for consumers by up to 20%.
A VAT reduction helps us create promotional discount programs for customers or use money to improve the service quality.
The 2% VAT reduction encourages me to shop and dine out more.
Along with investment and export, domestic consumption is one of the 3 important driving forces of economic growth. Shopping centers and retail systems are launching programs to stimulate consumer demand for shopping and entertainment during the peak of summer. Thus, businesses and distribution systems anticipate tax reductions to increase purchasing power by around 40%.
The tax reduction presents many opportunities for retailers to create stimulus programs, especially during the upcoming summer shopping season.
In the first 4 months of this year, total retail sales and consumer service revenue exceeded $78.6 billion, an increase of 8.5% from last year. If approved and implemented by year-end, the VAT reduction policy will help lower commodity prices and stimulate consumer demand.
The 2024 Sapa Monson Run took place in Sapa Town, Lào Cai Province on Saturday morning. This is the 4th time the event has been organized, attracting over 400 participants. Runners could choose from 3 running track distances, 8, 16, and 20 kilometers, which started from Cat Cat Village through Hoàng Liên Commune, Cloud Bridge Ward, and Mường Hoa Valley. The running route featured the enchanting terrace fields in the monsoon season, stunning natural scenery, and the unique cultural features of the local ethnic groups. The event was a chance for running enthusiasts to train, improve their health, and also promote tourism and introduce Sapa to more visitors. The project promoting the values of folk songs, folk dances, and folk music of ethnic groups in association with tourism development in the 2021 to 2030 period, initiated by the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism, has yielded numerous benefits. Many ethnic boarding schools have organized classes to teach students folk songs and folk dances. Localities have also increased their cultural investment to disseminate local cultural identity to a wider audience.
The integration of culture into over 800 educational institutions in Hà Giang Province has been enthusiastically implemented in various forms, including music, traditional attire, and folk games.
In 2016, the province introduced a life skill education project into schools. In 2021, the province also implemented a plan to introduce cultural and traditional elements for ethnic groups into high schools.
Over the years, the Lu ethnic people in Tam Duong, Lai Châu, an ethnic group with a small population, have preserved their unique cultural identity by bringing traditional culture into school.
The school has established 3 clubs to promote traditional culture: a music club, a folk games club, and a traditional costume embroidery club.
In culture development strategies, the focus is always on people. This is particularly crucial in border localities, where each person's love for their countries and pride in their cultural identity acts as a living testament to the protections of the border.
The melodies are meant for a selective listener. It all started with a group of young people united by their shared passions for cải lương, a traditional Vietnamese musical performance art. Today, the Southern Melodies Club boasts over 40 active members who regularly engage in activities. In the following story, we'll see the passion that young individuals have for this traditional music genre.
For the past 8 years, the tune has captivated the members of the Southern Melodies Club. Members come from diverse hometowns such as Long An, Tiền Giang, Cà Mau, and the Central region. Each individual shares an immense passion for this Southern folk music.
During my first year as a student, I had a deep interest in Southern folk music and amateur singing. By chance, I discovered the Southern Melody Club, which I joined without hesitation.
Come rain or shine, every Sunday, as friends from the Southern Melodies Club gather with their zithers, guitars, and other instruments. They sing together, engaging in conversations about exceptional cải lương, ancient songs, tales of love and both new and old, and more.
Recently, we participated in the Reading Culture Festival in Ho Chi Minh City. Our primary goal is to foster our shared passion and contribute to the preservation of Southern folk music.
They met many people who empathize with them, even though the encounters were brief and coincidental.
Every time, the melody stirred such deep emotions within me that tears welled up in my eyes.
These melodies are profoundly moving, allowing audiences to sense the developed love and passions that these young individuals have for the Southern folk music right in the heart of Ho Chi Minh City.
Coming up next in our world news. Israeli military intensifies attack on the city of Rafah. And largest solar storm in decades hits Earth. Now moving on to our world news. On Friday, Israel escalated attacks on the city of Rafah, considered the last stronghold of Hamas after ceasefire agreement negotiations collapsed. The Israeli military occupied the main road dividing the eastern and western halves of Rafah, encircling the entire eastern part of the city. Residents reported hearing multiple explosions and continuous gunfire in the east and northeast of Rafah as the Israeli army engaged fiercely with members of Hamas and the jihad movements. The Israeli military stated it had identified several tunnels and engaged in a close combat with groups of Hamas members. Meanwhile, Hamas announced it had ambushed Israeli tanks near a mosque in eastern Rafah. Israel declared it would intensify the conflict until it repelled Hamas members in the city, while Hamas asserted it would steadfastly defend Rafah. At least 62 people have died and more than 100 have been injured due to flash flooding in northern Afghanistan. Dozens of people remain missing after heavy rainfall hit 5 districts in Baghlan province. There are warnings that the death toll could rise ahead of 2 more storms forecast to spread across the region on Friday night. Many homes were destroyed and rescue teams are delivering food and aid to the affected areas. More than 150 people are trapped and urgently need help. The Afghan Ministry of Natural Disaster Management reported that flash floods also occur in Kabul. Currently, it is impossible to accurately estimate the damage caused by the floods. Earth experienced the strongest geomagnetic storm or solar storm in 20 years on Saturday. The Russian Academy of Sciences report that a geomagnetic storm surpassed the G4 level on the 5-level scale. This scale, issued by the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, is used to assess the severity of space weather events. According to this scale, at level G5, geomagnetic storms can cause large-scale power grid failures, seriously affecting satellites and radio communication systems. Strong geomagnetic storms can also cause symptoms such as headaches, fatigue, heart palpitation, increased blood pressure, mood swing, and insomnia. Nestled within the extensive mental health campus of New York City's Creedmoor Psychiatric Institute is an unlikely hub of the arts, the Living Museum. It's both a working studio and a gallery space, displaying the largest collection of artworks by people with a mental illness in the United States and possibly the world.
Paula Brooks, a 45-year-old self-taught artist, has been visiting the Living Museum regularly since the 1990s. Brooks' works are displayed throughout the museum, which showcases more than 4 decades of paintings, sculptures, murals, and installations.
When I come to this studio, it's like a relief day. Like I could spend my whole time of the day painting and not have anything interrupt that's negative or violent.
This place was founded in 1983 by Creedmoor psychologist Dr. Janos Martin and Polish artist Bolek Greksinski. Today, approximately 70 artists work at the site. Artists can drop in and work where they like, in the large, central open space, or in hidden nooks and rooms off to the sides.
We focus on this change of identity from a mentally ill to an artist. Being hospitalized is traumatic on its own, so having a place where you can be socializing, going to make art, and really there's no rule for how to make your art or what to make. Really, it's just the material is, it's very important for them.
The Living Museum is open to the public by appointment from Monday through Friday. Creating a sense of community and fostering identity change are at the heart of the Living Museum's mission.
Now let's move on to the weather forecast. And that's all the news we have for this hour. To rewatch our program, you can download our mobile app VTVgo or check out our YouTube channel VTV4Go. Thank you for watching and see you next time.